you should be telling him. Just like if you're not noticing your wife, there's going to be some young Alec, some smart Alec out there who's going to start telling her all the things that she needs to hear. And so it's important for us to recognize we can't take each other for granted. I don't care how long you've been married. I don't care if you feel like, oh, I'm just going through the motions. You need to understand this is a very, very important part of your relationship. Notice one another.
Hey, Authentic Nation. Jaimie and Sarah here. We are shooting from the beautiful nation of Zimbabwe, which is so exciting. How are you, my king?
I am well. I am in Zim. It is green, it is warm, and it's always good to be home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Today, I want us to talk about taking each other for granted.
Okay.
So many times, it's so easy to get into the cycle of life, the cycle of marriage, the routine of it all, and begin to take your better half, your other, your spouse for granted. And one of the things as humans, we all want to know and feel that we are seen, that we are heard, that we're appreciated, that we're respected, that we are valued, that we actually have worth in the eyes and the heart of our significant other. And it's so easy to ignore those things and then deal with the consequences.
Very true.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that happens, Sarah, I think sometimes, unfortunately, people fall in love with the idea of marriage or the legality of marriage. And they fail to understand the moving parts behind the paper. Are you with me? And behind the covenant.
Yeah.
So what they do is they say, you said that you were going to be married to me forever. So you should do that. It doesn't matter what I do. I feel like I don't have any responsibility to play my part, and yet I'm expecting you to play your part. So it's like me coming into the relationship and saying, Sarah, I'm your husband. By law, under God, you're my wife. You're supposed to serve me. You're supposed to look after me. You're supposed to look out for me. You're supposed to do all of the things that you're tasked with doing. It doesn't really matter what I do. And I'm holding you to the legality of the document and forgetting that there's a person or people involved and that there are obligations that come with that particular document, with that legality. Are you with me? And then it's shocking, but that's what happens, unfortunately. People think, yeah, you have to do it. And unfortunately, the reality is very, very different. It's one thing to have to do something. It's another thing to enjoy doing it.
That's right. And when the joy is sucked out of it, it becomes a chore.
It becomes a chore. It really does.
When you feel like you're invisible to your significant other, and you feel like you are an option to your significant other, you feel you're unheard, you're unnoticed, you're not appreciated, that messes with your psyche, man. Because the marriage is the two come together to become one flesh. And we're in this thing to do it for life. We're in this thing to create and build a destiny together. And if I ever feel like I'm insignificant or irrelevant, it makes me begin to feel like, you know what am I even doing here?
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think you make a great point about being seen. Oh my gosh. You said it and it just sent off, so many things in my mind. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to feel like they matter. Everybody wants to feel like they're being understood. Everyone wants to feel noticed. It's amazing how people think that you can avoid doing all of that stuff and somehow believe that you can get the best out of the person that you're with.
That's right.
It's quite interesting. The book of Ephesians talks about it in the context of marriage. When it's speaking specifically about wives, talking about how they interact with their men. It says in the Amplified Version, make sure that you notice him. Yeah. So, women can relate to this because if a woman buys a beautiful dress, she dolls herself up, looks amazing, and does all of that, and her husband doesn't even say anything about it, that is the beginning of World War III.
Well, my friend, listen, if we're going somewhere and I come out and you don't say nothing, and I get into the car and you don't say anything,
it's a challenge.
It's not going to be a great day. It's not going to be a great experience.
Exactly.
I want to be noticed because I adorn myself for you. And if I've adorned myself for you, and I'm made up and I smell great. Yes, there is the element of doing it for myself,
Sure.
but I'm a married woman. I want you to see
Mm-hmm.
and appreciate me. And if I feel I am not
Yeah.
noticed and I am irrelevant, whatever it is I wear or do, it's going to affect my confidence. It's going to
Absolutely.
affect even some of my self-esteem. And some people may argue and say, so are you doing it just for Jaimie to notice? Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you don't notice me, that's a real big
Yeah.
deal.
Absolutely.
That's a real big deal. And this goes for both men and women.
That's what I was going to say. That, it's interesting that we would automatically assume it just relates to the women.
Yes.
But the scripture lets it be known that you're supposed to do the same thing for your husband as well. And why is that important? Because if you're noticing him, or put it this way, if you're not noticing him, I can guarantee you there's somebody else who's noticing him and telling him all the things that you should be telling him. Just like if you're not noticing your wife, there's going to be some young Alec, some smart Alec out there who's going to start telling her all the things that she needs to hear. And so it's important for us to recognize we can't take each other for granted. I don't care how long you've been married. I don't care if you feel like, oh, I'm just going through the motions. You need to understand this is a very, very important part of your relationship. Notice one another. Have affection for one another. Appreciate one another. Comment positively on one another. And don't just do it as a one-off. Do it as an act, as a deliberate act every single day, as often as you can. Because what you do is you then remove the possibility of somebody else having the space to do it as well.
Absolutely.
If you're constantly hearing affirmation and if you're constantly hearing words that build you up, why do you need to hear them from somebody else? You don't need them. You understand?
Absolutely.
And so we need to make sure that we're making that investment on an ongoing basis.
So couples, I don't know about you guys, man. Are you noticing each other? Are you
Yeah.
appreciating? Are you valuing one another? And right up in the run up to Valentine's Day.
For sure.
And we know it's all about love. And so many times, ladies, we make it all about ourselves. But let me tell you something. Our men matter too. He's not just there to just buy you gifts and ply you with things. There needs to be a measure and a level of reciprocity. Even the scripture says it is more blessed to give than it is to receive.
Yeah.
And some of us are just used to being recipients, and you're a love beggar. You're constantly receiving. You're receiving money. You're receiving gifts. You're receiving affirmation. You're receiving compliments, but you never know how to give it back again. So make sure you make your person feel like they're seen, like they're heard, like they're appreciated, like they're respected, like they're honored, like he's your king. It absolutely matters. What that does is it unlocks a level and a measure of blessings. Let me tell you something. A measure of favor, a measure of generosity begins to flow out of him. These things are reciprocal. It's not a one-way street where you just take, and you never give. Or you think the offering is your body. There's got to be more substance, more depth, more value, more worth in you than just your body.
No, absolutely. And by the way, just so you know, I'm not going to do you like, there's a video that's been doing the rounds, a few of them, of men who wrap presents for their wives or better halves in like wrap them really beautifully, and then when she opens it, it says light bill or gas bill or I think that's funny, but it's not funny, if you know what I mean.
No, that's not funny at all.
Yes, we appreciate, that men, we do all of that. A lot of the times we're tasked with paying the bills and doing a lot of that. And sometimes you can feel thankless. But let me tell you something. If you're going to be making deposits into your love bank, that's not going to do anything for it. What you need to do is, it's not about money. It's not about having a lot of money. It's about the effort that you put into it. Because that's you saying, even if you see behind us, and I've talked about this before in a previous video, there are flowers here. You can literally bring a flower. Bring something that says, you know what, I might not be in the in the money right now. I might not be quids in right now. I don't have a lot of money to spare, but this is me saying to you, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much for everything that you do for me. And by the same token, ladies, like Sarah was saying, appreciate the stuff that the man does, because sometimes paying a bill is difficult. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's really challenging, but when you appreciate it, even when you pay that bill, you pay it with with excitement and like, you know what, I'm really happy I get to do this for my family, as opposed to I have to do this for my family.
Yeah.
It's not a good feeling.
Absolutely. Well, we'll park right here.
Okay.
God bless you, Authentic Nation. Thank you guys for following.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing the videos.
Yes.
We are traveling the world and bumping into people who are following.
Yes.
We bumped into people in South Africa. We bumped into people in the Maldives.
Yes.
We bumped into people in Dubai
Yes.
last week. We're in Zim. We bumped into people in the UK. We bumped into people. And these are all people who are actually watching and following. And we really, really appreciate the love and the feedback and you sharing the videos and sharing the links and being a part of this amazing journey. Absolutely.
All we want to do, guys, is to just talk, be very authentic about these topics. You know, we always talk about faith, family, finance. We just want to be very honest and open and really help people, and that's what we're committed to doing. So it takes some doing, you know that. But the reason why we do it is because when we speak to people and we hear how it's impacting them and how it's transforming the way that they think, and also they're seeing, you know, living, breathing examples of how even if you're going through challenges, it doesn't need to be the end of your relationship.
That's right.
You know, that's what gives us the motivation to keep doing it. And so when you reach out to us and say, look, I follow you on TikTok or I follow you on YouTube, it's brilliant. Why we're excited about that is because we are committed to just helping as many people as we can to enjoy the kind of relationships that we know God wants them to have. And that's why we do it. Okay.
God bless you, Authentic Nation.
Have a good one, guys.
See you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.